Call to order this meeting of the Salem City Council for Monday, April 8th, 2024. If the recorder will please call the roll.
Councillor Stapleton.
I'm here.
Councillor Nishioka.
I'm here.
Councillor Phillips.
Here.
Councillor Gwynn. Here. Councillor Gonzalez. Absent. Councillor Hoy.
Here.
Councillor Nordyke. Absent. Councillor Varney.
Here.
Mayor Hoy.
Here. Will you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Councillor Stapleton, do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Yes, thank you. I move approval of the additions to the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Stapleton, second by Phillips. Councillor, to your motion.
Thank you. Yes, we have two additions. We have one for 1.3A, which is an update to some wording, and item 1.3B, which is, oh, sorry, wrong one, 6.C, which is adding that it is going to be appealed. So both of those.
Further discussion? Will the recorder please call the roll?
Councillor Phillips.
Aye.
Councillor Gwynn.
Aye.
Councillor Gonzalez. Absent. Councillor Hoy.
Aye.
Councillor Nordyke. Not yet. Councillor Varney.
Aye.
Councillor Stapleton.
Aye.
Councillor Nishioka.
Aye.
Mayor Hoy.
Aye. Motion passes. All right. It is now time for council and city manager comments. Do we have any? Well, I would just like to say that on Saturday I was privileged to attend I believe it was the 6th annual Qingming Festival at our park. I'm sorry, at our Pioneer Cemetery, not park, at the Pioneer Cemetery. And that was an amazing ceremony. If you've never attended, I highly recommend it. It's every year where we clean the shrine honoring the Chinese immigrants who did a lot to make Salem what it is today. They were here in the 1800s and doing a lot of work in our city, and it's really always an educational and really rich experience. I definitely recommend it for folks. So, any other comments? Councillor Hoy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to say that I had a great conversation this afternoon with the state librarian, and I'm looking forward to exploring some possibilities for funding the library in a new way. And we'll be talking about that, I hope, in the next budget committee meeting. So thank you.
Any other comments? All right, it's now time for proclamations, and I would like to call up the Salem City Librarian, Bridget Escada, to receive the National Library Workers' Day proclamation. Do you have staff here as well that you would like to invite up? Staff member, librarians, any librarian in the audience, would you like to join us? That would be fantastic. Got some on this side too. Great. Welcome, everybody. All right. Whereas, excuse me, let's start over. Whereas libraries are essential institutions that offer the opportunity for everyone to connect with others, learn new skills, and pursue their passions, no matter where they are on life's journey. And whereas librarians and library support staff bring I'm not sure what that's supposed to say, the nation expert assistance, I think there's a typo in there, I apologize, personal service, and access to wealth of services and programs, both in person and online. Whereas library professionals at thousands of academic, governmental, public, school, and specialized libraries in the United States provide this invaluable service to library users regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or socioeconomic status. And whereas the library workers at the Salem Public Library tirelessly serve our community, enriching lives and fostering literacy and lifelong learning through their expertise and commitment. Whereas the passion and dedication of library professionals contribute to the cultural enrichment, educational advancement, economic development, and social cohesion of our city. And now, therefore, I, Chris Hoy, Mayor of the City of Salem, proclaim Tuesday, April 9, 2024 as National Library Workers' Day in Salem, and I encourage all in this community to take advantage of the variety of library resources available and to thank library workers for their exceptional contributions to American life. Dated this 8th day of April 2024.
So as Mayor Hoy said, passion really stood out, and as you can see, we have tons of passionate individuals here with us today. Without that passion, we couldn't provide the services that we do each day at work with the amount of staff that we currently have. So please, I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all your hard work, your dedication, and for coming to work each day with a smile on your face and providing the services that you all do. I really appreciate you guys all. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Stapleton, if you would like to come on up for the Dark Skies Proclamation, and I'll let you invite up the people who are going to come up. Harry Fuller, and I'm not sure if you have anybody else coming.
Marissa, I know you're here. Come on down. Okay, thank you. And I'm looking to my colleague over there, Linda, who helped get this all put together. Thank you, Linda. All right. Whereas International Dark Sky Week is observed in April on the week of the new moon, and whereas Salem is a growing city in a growing metropolitan area with growth and development comes more outdoor lighting, and whereas light pollution wastes energy, increases our carbon footprint, and has widespread and harmful impacts on health and safety for humans and wildlife. And whereas Salem is on the Pacific Flyway, which brings millions of birds into our airspace during migration, and light pollution represents a major threat to migratory birds, including interfering with their migratory patterns and contributing to the collisions, which cause up to 1 billion bird deaths every year. And whereas the American Medical Association Council on Science and Public Health affirms known and suspected impacts to human health and the environment caused by LEDs that emit excessive amounts of blue light. And whereas Oregon's dark skies are a significant natural resource with 3 accredited dark sky places to date, including Sun River, Prineville Reservoir State Park, and the world's largest dark sky sanctuary, the Oregon Outback International Dark Sky Sanctuary. And now, therefore, Chris Hoy, the mayor of the city of Salem, does proclaim the month of April as Dark Sky Oregon Awareness Month, and asks the community to observe this day by becoming educated on what they can do to limit their own light pollution.
Just want, hello, you got me close to this. Okay. So Harry Fuller of Salem Audubon also wishes he was here. He just called him, and he is packing for a trip. So, so I just wanted to, sort of mention Salem Audubon and their efforts as well. He just recently published a piece in the Salem Reporter, if you haven't seen that. But yeah, thanks so much, and I think bringing light to this dark topic is important, and and thanks for doing that.
Thank you.
All right, next up we have a presentation, and I'd like to call up Robin Dahlke for a FEMA Community Rating System Class 3 Plaque presentation. Oh, and we have other folks as well. Sorry. Just 1 second. I'm sorry, I didn't introduce you. I didn't get your name.
Willie Nunn, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, yes, sir. On behalf of the FEMA Administrator, Ms. Deanne Cresswell, my name is Willie Nunn. I'm the FEMA Region 10 Administrator. I am administrator for Alaska, Oregon, Idaho, and Washington, and 271 federally recognized tribes within those states, which 9 of them are here in Oregon.
Yes.
What we're presenting today, thank you, sir. That's a good way to do it. Well, for those of you online, I go by he/him pronouns. I'm a black male with a shiny bald head, and I'm wearing a FEMA logo jacket to be accessible for those online.
Thank you.
But this is important today to say congratulations to the city of Salem. This is a community rating system of the National Flood Insurance Program of 3, Class 3, which puts Salem in the top 20 in the nation and the top in the state of Oregon. Which is, woohoo, yes ma'am.
It's a big deal.
Yes, it is. And this rating has been worked hard on. The city of Oregon joined the NFIP program 15th of June in 1979, about 2.5 months after FEMA was born. FEMA turned 45 years old this year. But it's with the recognition of what this city has done to be resilient. Talking about free space, talking about raising mobile home trailers to make sure that they're not flooded, talking about looking at drainage protection just to make your city resilient, sir. And so on behalf, what this does for your community, it reduces your premium by 35%. And I'm originally from Alabama. I've been here in the Pacific Northwest for 26 years. So I'm going to do a little Alabama math in my head.
I don't know what that is, but go ahead.
Well, sir, we have about 825 policyholders for NFIP in the city of Salem. We have the premiums are worth about almost $600,000. And it's an annual premium payment of about $727 a year. And if you didn't have that 35% reduction, it's about $210,000 more that the folks would have to pay. So well done. I would say as this has been in effect since 1 April, but she says she's already getting calls on how to do it better.
Awesome. Well, it's really all due to Robin's hard work. I mean, there's no doubt about that. She deserves all the credit.
Well, no, I was going to say, there really has been a successful program in my experience because of a supportive council and community development, community designers and homeowners, property owners. I feel like there's been a lot of incentives for us to increase and awareness and just support of the program. We couldn't have done that without the support of this community and the continued growth in our program. This is one of my favorite parts of my job that is lots of different hats, but I always love this part of it, and this is probably where you've seen me at council is floodplain related, but we'll continue to strive to keep this discount for residents because we know how important it is, and then keep the flood resilience on the forefront because 1% chance any given year.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, the gentleman from FEMA asked if the other counselors would come up for a photo.
Of course. Come on up, colleagues. Let me get rid of, I'm going to give you that. Okay. I'm going to get rid of this. Why don't you do 2 rows? Oh. 2 rows or?
Yeah, maybe 2.
Come on down.
Oh, yeah.
Breathe in.
Do this side.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't get the memo that we're
Thanks again. Thanks again. Thank you.
Yes.
Great.
Thank you.
All right. Now it is time for public comment.
No one signed up. She signed up for the wrong one, so I put her on item 8. And you've got a couple other people from item 8.
Okay. So it looks like we just have one person signed up online. So Alyssa, are you with us?
I am. Can you hear me?
I can. Just as a reminder, if you would introduce yourself and either your address or your ward, and you have 3 minutes, and there should be a timer that pops up on that screen at some point here real soon.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you. Hello, my name is Alyssa Kokinas. I am a resident of Ward 2. I am also a senior library assistant at Salem Public Library, and I spoke last time. So I'd be there in person to advocate for our library and for a ceasefire resolution in Gaza, but I'm currently sick, so I thought, well, we'll do the virtual comment. Right now, it's currently National Library Week, so I'd like to thank City Council and Mayor Hoy for the National Library Workers' Day proclamation. However, as a library worker expressing my personal opinion as a private citizen, given that there are 8 FTE positions potentially being cut from the library by July 1st, 2024, this proclamation does feel a bit ill-timed and performative. I believe if you cared more about your library workers, your public library, and the community that we serve, there would be no further cuts to Salem Public Library, as we already have given up about 7 vacant positions in late 2023. To lay off more people would be a detriment to the library's services and function. According to a Facebook question the library got recently from a patron who asked about the ratio of library staff to patrons, we learned that for our 54,562 cardholders, there is 1 staff member for every 1,537 users out of our 35.5 FTE staff members. So my question is, how will 8 less staff be able to serve our community if we are already that short-staffed? It will mean more cuts to hours, to programs, and our ability to circulate materials effectively. To continue to target our short-staffed department for cuts will only be more of a disservice to our community, and further cuts and reductions will once again primarily affect Spanish-speaking staff, many of whom were hired more recently. Please back up your proclamation for National Library Workers' Day 2024 and your actions for the library by taking further library cuts off the table in your next budget committee meeting, of which all of City Council and the mayor are members of. You are the policymakers, so please heed this call to truly support your city library workers and back up your words with actions. Thank you.
Thank you, Alyssa. All right. That's it for items of public comment until item 8. We'll get to those in a little bit. Now we're at the consent calendar. Councilor Stapleton.
I move approval of the consent calendar.
Second.
Motion by Stapleton, second by Phillips. Councilor, to your motion.
Thank you. We have 3 items on the consent calendar tonight. Item 3.1A, which is the March 25th, 2024 draft city council minutes, and 2 claim settlement authorizations, item 3.3A and 3.3B. And that concludes the consent calendar.
Thank you. Is there further discussion? Will the recorder please call the roll?
Counselor Gwynn? Aye. Counselor Gonzalez absent. Counselor Hoy?
Aye.
Counselor Nordyke?
Aye.
Counselor Varney?
Aye.
Counselor Stapleton?
Aye.
Counselor Nishioka?
Aye.
Counselor Phillips?
Aye.
Mayor Hoy?
Aye. Motion passes. All right. We have no public hearings, no special orders of business. We are on to information reports. We'll go through these one by one. Is there anything on item 6A? 6B? 6C, which has been appealed. All right. We have no ordinances, so we are now on to item 8. This is, we're moving through it. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to say anything to jinx anything. I'm just saying we're moving through it. All right. So first up, we have Jasenia. And if you would come on up, be sure and hit that button so the green light comes on. Introduce yourself with either your address or your ward. And as a reminder, you have 3 minutes. When the yellow light flashes, that means you have 1 minute to go. When the red light comes on, that means your time's done. Hit the button first, please. There you go.
Hi, my name is Jasenia, and my address is, well, it's by the fairgrounds. So I just want to say that thank you so much for letting me speak today, and I will be talking about getting a ceasefire resolution. It is my understanding that it has been forwarded to the Human Rights Commission, which we really do appreciate. And so from there, that you're supposed to get some kind of report, right, to make a mayoral proclamation. We would like more than that. We would like a ceasefire resolution backed by all 8 wards plus the mayor. That would be ideal to show that we're united against genocide. I'm gonna read a little bit from this pamphlet that I made. So our taxes, our Oregon taxes, are funding genocide in Palestine. Right now there's a crisis of human rights violation and war crimes in defiance of international law. The Israeli military has engaged in targeted bombings and killings of civilians and aid workers. Did anyone hear about the 7 WCK workers that were targeted not only once, not twice, but 3 times in 3 separate cars by the Israeli military? And the overwhelming majority of Gazans are presently at risk of starving. Right now, they just passed through Ramadan and they had to break fast with a can of beans. That's so sad compared to how they usually break Ramadan with a bunch of cheese and meats and juices and fruits and whatnot. There's also been restricted entry of humanitarian assistance into Gaza, which has been causing this starvation, and restriction to access to basic necessities like food, water, electricity, and medical services. They've been stripped away from the Gazan people. This started since 1948 with the violent forced displacement and dispossession of Palestinians during the establishment of the Zionist State of Israel. I encourage you to watch the video from Jewish Voices for Peace about the Israel-Palestinian conflict. It's cartoon, it's very understandable, 6 minutes long. It won't take much of your time. It's in this pamphlet if you would be so kind as to take one to learn more information. So are our taxes funding this? Yes. In Oregon alone, taxpayers collectively send over $41 million to Israel, and Congress is currently debating to multiply that amount. The U.S. has been complicit in Israel's military campaign through state foreign military financing, FMF, to Oregon companies that sell war materials to the Israeli military. Since '96, these companies have received more than $65 million in FMF, and Oregon exports to Israel have totaled more than $6.5 billion. So what does Oregon have to do with it? It has a lot to do with it. It's actually the 3rd nation to trade with Israel, the 3rd top. So please take this into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Inam Al-Bustami.
Hi.
Hello.
So my name is Anam, and I am from Ward 1. So Walid Dakka, a 60-year-old imprisoned Palestinian man, passed away yesterday. Walid was arrested in 1987 and spent 37 years, one of the longest sentences in Israeli prison. Walid died in Israeli custody despite many calls for his immediate release on humanitarian grounds due to his diagnosis of bone marrow cancer and the fact that he had already completed his sentence in March of 2023. Even on his deathbed, Israeli authorities continued their cruelty by beating him, humiliating him, denying him health care, suitable food, and any contact with his wife and daughter. Walid wrote many stories in his time in prison, one of which I will relay now. A 12-year-old child prisoner asked me for a cigarette. In normal circumstances, outside the walls of prison, I would have said no. We don't want children to smoke. But in this environment, it struck me that the child wanted, by this request, to grow up quickly so that he could better confront the years of confinement that now loomed before him, or perhaps recover from the violence of his arrest. By the act of smoking, he seemed to proclaim, "Behold me, an adult." So I handed the child a cigarette. The guard came back for us, picked the 8th pair of handcuffs up from the concrete floor, and barked at the child to push his hands through the slot in the door. So the child pushed them through while still holding the cigarette between his fingers. The guard shouted at him to drop the cigarette, then muttered to himself in Hebrew, bemoaning the sight of a child smoking. Nevertheless, he proceeded with the handcuffing, remaining unmoved by the sight of those small hands in handcuffs, because the child's wrists were too small. However, he struggled several times to secure the handcuffs, and finally he decided to use them on the boy's legs. When he was moved out of the cell in preparation for the transportation, I looked at him and imagined that he was my own son, such as fate had not yet wanted to bring into the world. I wanted with every strain of my being to hug him, and these paternal feelings surged through me. I felt an overwhelming desire to cry, but I had held my feelings. I did not want to shatter the image of the man that he wanted to now become. I walked over to him so as to shake his hand as a comrade and a rival, asking, "How are you, fighter?" I tell you a lead story, which is one of thousands, to emphasize that this is a 100-year struggle in and out of Gaza. We're asking this council to pass a resolution not only for an immediate ceasefire, but also for the Salem City Council to pass a resolution for unrestricted entry of humanitarian assistance into Gaza, call for the restoration of access to basic necessities like food, water, electricity, and medical services to the Gazan people, denounce U.S. complicity in Israel's military campaign to Gaza and the West Bank, and call for an end to all U.S. military aid into Israel. Call for an end to Israeli apartheid and acts of genocide against the Palestinian people, which violate international law and affirms the Palestinian rights to self-determination, sovereignty, and refugee return to their land.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Echo Dunham.
Hi, I'm Echo Dunham. I live in Ward 3. I don't have a team of people with me, but there's a lot of people around the world, and that's why I'm here, because I'm trying to get something started here in our area. I'm here to address the silent epidemic, parental alienation. This insidious form of emotional abuse tears away children from a loving parent, twisting perceptions and severing vital family bonds. Imagine a child bombarded with negativity about a parent they once adored. Imagine birthdays missed, shared holidays fractured, a love turned to fear. This is a chilling reality for countless children caught in the crossfire of parental conflict. The targeted parent suffers immensely, their love turned away, their pleas unheard. The damage doesn't stop there. Alienated children lose a vital connection, robbed of a healthy, balanced relationship with both parents. Studies show they're more prone to anxiety, depression, and difficulties in forming future relationships. This isn't just a private matter, it's a societal one. Parental alienation is a form of child abuse that deserves recognition and intervention. There is hope. On April 25th, cities across the nation will unite in a powerful act of solidarity. A bubble blowout for parental alienation awareness. Blowing bubbles is a simple act, yet it symbolizes the fragility of childhood and the interconnectedness we strive for. Imagine parks and streets filled with shimmering bubbles, each a silent testament to the children caught in the turmoil. Join us, bring your children, your friends, a bucket of bubbles. Let's create a visual wave of awareness, washing away the walls of isolation separating alienated families. Together, we can raise our voices, we can show these children and targeted parents they are not alone. We can advocate for legal recognition, support systems to heal these fractured families. On April 25th, let's blow bubbles, not just for fun, but for the chance to rebuild a world where every child feels loved, supported by both parents. I would like nothing more than for Salem, Oregon to join in on the cause so we're not left behind. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that concludes the public testimony. We are adjourned.